The co-working app pinged at 12:21 a.m. His badge opened the wrong room. I'm not jealous of bodies, I'm jealous of access. Bodies tell the truth if you stop staging them. Access decides which truth gets to arrive. At 12:21 a.m., my phone flashed the kind of cheerful cruelty only software has perfected and wrote, "Door unlocked, Riverworks Conference B after hours entry." Underneath, smaller and polite, "Guest badge activated." The guest name made a stupid little knot of vowels. Finn. Rowan had texted at 10:46, "Donors want one more drink. Don't wait up." He's good at the part of theater that isn't on stage, comforting money, making it believe it understands art. I'd filmed the coffee at 7:05 because ritual is cheaper than religion and keeps better hours. I captioned it here. He reacted with the thumbs up he uses when he's already late for an hour that plans to rename itself. The Riverworks app pinged again at 12:58. "Door locked, conference be." Nothing about who left first. Nothing about what air was doing while it waited for faces to stop pretending. I set the phone face down and let the apartment perform its version of sleep. The radiator breathed like a chorus of amateurs. The hallway practiced being neutral. I boiled water because water does not audition. At 3:09 the lock cleared its throat. Rowan stepped in with his tie loosened, his jacket over his shoulder and his shoes hooked by two fingers like witnesses too tired to lie. He kissed the air near my cheek, our administrative truce, and said, "You're up," as if etiquette had sent me a letter. "Riverworks says your badge got ambitious," I said. "Conference B at 12:21, guest badge Finn." His pupils turned into clocks, that tiny dilation I have learned to track, the one that starts just before he chooses a verb. "We needed a room with a board," he said. "Donors wanted numbers for breath and Finn knows spreadsheets the way I know applause. We were loud at Lark and Lantern. The app said Conference B was open. It was. We drew arrows, we argued, we left." "Did you argue with your mouth?" I asked, careful the way men become careful when the ice might be glass. He put both palms flat on the table the way our therapist taught him when he wants to give words somewhere to land. "Which question do you want?" he said. "Why or who?" "Why," I said, "because Matt, my emergency adult, kicks me under imaginary tables when I lead with names. If we start with who, the building writes our minutes." "Because the part wasn't coming," Rowan said. He looked at the patch of wall where the paint keeps wanting to retire without ceremony. "Because donors clapped in the wrong places and then demanded to be forgiven with gin. Because Finn said the air at Riverworks is better at telling the truth when the doors are locked and alarms are polite. Because sometimes I want a room that doesn't remember me, even while I'm standing in it." "Did you kiss him?" I asked, breaking Matt's superstition like a boy with a stick and a fence. Rowan let his mouth make the shape I collect for truth. "In the doorway after we locked up once," he said. "It was small and honest and wrong. I came home." "I hate how sane that sounds," I said, which is the sentence I use when mercy arrives before my tone does. "We didn't sleep. We did something more humiliating and useful. We agreed to go to Riverworks at noon, when cities pretend to be merciful." The lobby smelled like citrus that had learned to keep a secret. The woman at the desk had the posture of a cathedral and the eyes of a person who knows where all the paper clips are buried. "Back so soon," she said, without making it a question. Conference B was warm and boring by design. Long table, glass wall, a whiteboard that keeps other people's verbs. The board still wore a ghost of last night's math, arrows fatting where hands had insisted on hope. Faint, near the corner, was a sentence Finn had written and half erased. "No kissing until after the budget. Rational men prefer rules that already lost." Finn stood in the doorway with a paper cup, and the dignity of a man prepared to pay for his verbs. He saw us both, and his face performed the trick I respect most. He didn't pretend surprise. "I was coming to apologize to the room," he said, "and to whatever part of your house has to be brave when a building pretends it has better light." "You don't get to call it our house," I said, "because cleverness is my superstition and I tithe when I'm anxious. You can call rehearsal a room, a kiss a scene, a spreadsheet a sermon. You don't get to be a verb in our kitchen." Finn nodded like someone who has taught younger men to survive their habits. "He loves you," he said to me, which felt like he was paying the cover charge. "I like being near that. I'm sorry my grammar overlaps with desire." Rowan didn't look at Finn. He looked at me with the exact weight of a man deciding which door deserved his mouth. "I want open windows," he said, "not open doors." On the whiteboard, I drew a square with a marker and labeled it later. Immature, maybe, but rituals need props. We left with nothing more dramatic than the room exhaling. At home, I moved the kitchen chair into the middle of the floor because procedures save men when gods won't. Rowan smiled like a man relieved to be caught kindly. He came around the table and paused, always that pause, his most decent habit. I met him halfway. The first kiss was apology without speeches. The second had his fingers under my shirt and my hand at the back of his neck, the spot he keeps for oaths and sleep. I won't map the rest for a platform that prefers virtue louder than accuracy. You can have breath that belonged to both of us, a belt resigning with grace, a palm pinning a wrist as proof we remembered to ask. Heat is not a moral, it's a system. We used it like men who finally remember what it's for. Of course, the world loves quizzes. 2 nights later, the Riverworks account posted a carousel at 1:41 a.m. A hallway selfie in handsaw light, 4 bodies if you counted reflections. Rowan washing his hands, head down, Finn behind him, tie undone, a stranger passing like a rumor, me in the glass because whoever posted had tagged my name. The caption said, "Boys being brave." Comments did what comments do. I typed nothing. I turned the phone face down. I put the chair in the middle of the kitchen and sat until I could laugh. Rowan came home and handed me his phone without instructions. "Delete or archive," he said. "I don't want new grammar." "You don't need me to erase your verbs," I said. He rested his forehead against mine like a paperweight on a better draft. A week later, the email arrived with fonts that have never had to apologize to a kitchen. Residency, 7 days, mountain windows, quiet rooms. Rowan forwarded the PDF with every attachment, which is how you know a man has learned where courage keeps its receipts. "I want to go without disappearing," he wrote. "I'll send pages, not alibis. When I get back, ask me what I wrote before what I did." I taped 2 lines under the rubber orange magnet because props still save us when God takes a night off. Addresses in the open. A good night here voice note every day. He added a third in his careful mess. If an "I can't" is coming, it happens where both of us are. Night 1, wind and a sentence I decided to believe. Today the table forgave me. Night 3, nothing, and my thumb had the worst teenager in the world. I opened the Riverworks app without meaning to. Conference B glowed gray, empty, and I hated that this counted as a form of prayer. I moved the chair instead. At 8:12, Rowan called with a voice that made the kettle think there might be a god. "I almost kissed a window," he said. "It didn't know your name. I closed the blinds." He came back with a suitcase that didn't slam and 2 pages he treated like living animals. "They're not good," he said. "They're mine," I said, and we performed our small religion. Paper, kettle, a room that knows it isn't a lobby. He slid his hands under my shirt from behind, slower than contrition, faster than nostalgia. "Here," he said into the bend of my neck, which is the only word left that has never demanded witnesses. We tried boring. We failed gracefully. We tried again. Finn learned to stand at the back of the house with his arms crossed like a man paying the bill he owed himself. After curtain on preview night, he clapped exactly once. He didn't text. Neither did we. The city kept making rooms that wanted to pronounce us. Some deserved us. Most did not. One more test. The world is thorough when it thinks you've studied. At 12:49 a.m., Riverworks pinged, door opened, AV booth after hours, and my thumb, which thinks it is 19, opened the camera roll before I could ask it not to. I moved the chair instead. Rowan came home at 1:37 with a sentence ready. I walked him to the elevator. He kissed the hallway good night. I kissed the power button good decision. Do you want to hate me now or later? I prefer now. I like the way you come back from it. I'm tired of coming back, I said. I want to stay. He touched my jaw with 2 fingers, the intimacy director's sacrament repurposed for domestic faith, and the gesture landed in the one place it belonged. We went to bed without performing an essay on forgiveness. We used our mouths the way men do who still prefer heat to cleverness. The room did not applaud. It didn't need to. Weeks alter even honest bruises. The app keeps its talent for cheerful cruelty. Riverworks keeps its rooms that save what you write on their boards in a folder called Auto Snap, as if memory were a man taking attendance. Once, out of stupid curiosity, I opened it. There, faint and stubborn, was Finn's sentence. No kissing until after the budget. Half erased, wholly accurate about exactly nothing. If another night offers me a ping with the kind of honesty nobody asked for, or a glass wall that thinks it knows where to aim, or a hand on a back that isn't mine easing a man toward a door that refuses to be neutral, I hope I remember the handful of humiliating, useful acts that got us through this one. Put water on. Move the chair when words try to riot. Ask why before who. Hold the breath before contact and let it finish being the scene. Then wait for the small throat clearing of the lock, like it's the first note in a song we can still tune to. We didn't get away with anything. We stayed. We are still staying. The suitcase can keep its opinions, the app can keep its cheerful cruelty, the atrium can keep its lemon trees and its glass. We'll keep being the address, or, on the nights we can't, we'll be the map that admits its misprints and still traces the way back. Past the lobby that thinks it's a verb, past the elevator camera that loves its own memory, into a kitchen where a chair knows what it's for, a kettle sings at 7:05, and 2 hands that have done worse learn again how to touch without asking the night to edit.